Hey there, and welcome to your next episode of our 1967 Stingray. Yes, another YouTube video production dedicated to our favorite little 1967 friend here. You've been following the eBay auction, so you've probably already seen the details. This is basically a video to help you take a peek at the car, show the different angles, do a startup of the car, and to describe some of the different features and address some of the different questions that have been asked by various YouTube viewers and eBay bidders and people who have come see the car. I've had the car for a couple of years. We restored it. It's a sympathetic restoration, which basically means that we cleaned up what needed to be cleaned up as far as body and trim goes. I did replace the front bumpers because they had a little bit of corrosion on them. The rear bumpers are as they came from the factory. We cleaned everything else. We did replace one of the taillight lenses as it had a crack in it, but the rest of the glass and the rest of the plastic is all original from 1967. The paint has been done once. We believe it was done sometime in the early 1990s. It seems to be of really good sheen and really good gloss and was done properly at that time. It does have a couple of small road dings, road dents, if you will, as far as road chips that have been covered by various touch-up paint. There you go, thank you. I know I'm saying a lot. So just take a look. Let's go ahead and pop the hood, and we'll do a couple of review here. There we go. Here is the hood. There we go, little hood thing. So you can see the engine, it's all nailed down, everything's in place. Wiring looks really good, really solid. New wiring, engine bay or firewall forward. All the ignition shielding is in place. All the hoses are in place. You'll notice that I used modern hose clamps because I actually want them to stick and actually want them to stay put. The reproduction hose clamps, not really a solid item to actually on a street-driven car. Let me go over here, show you a couple of things. Not sure if you can see it, may be too dark on YouTube. YouTube has a tendency of darkening videos when you upload them. We have modern battery cables and a modern battery, so it actually works with a little disconnect switch. So if the car is going to be stored for any period of time, you don't drain the battery. Electrically, it seems really sound. So let's start it up. There we go. Don't drop the camera. Let's hop in. So as you can see, I've got the later model steering wheel here. So basically the idea is the slightly smaller diameter steering wheel. It is a Chevrolet part. It does bolt onto the same column as 67. Everything is basically 9 screws away. Pop that off. If you've ever seen one of those before. So basically 3 screws for the horn button and 6 screws for the wheel itself, and you are all set. As far as trying to do this without setting off the horn. There we go. There we go. Gauges are all in really good shape. The only gauge we had to have anything done to was the speedometer. You'll notice that as of today it has 562 miles on it. We took on a couple of trips. It's under 600 miles. I listed 600 miles, that way we could have some leeway room to be correct. Ammeter gauge, fuel gauge works. Water gauge, we had it operating for a test drive earlier. I'm trying to get without the sun reflection there. I got water gauge, it's still showing. Oil gauge. Definitely works. The Chrysler 5-speed with a 5-speed shift plate that they give you with Chrysler, outlining the pattern. So it's a really short throw shifter. So there's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and reverse. You'll notice that when I used reverse, I didn't use the lockout tool or lockout bar, as that is just for show and doesn't actually do anything. If you have a slightly larger leg, you'll notice it kind of bumps. That comes off by basically popping off the shifter ball, and then this is just a steel tube with a spring. but it does look like 1967, so a lot of people like it. You'll notice the clock is actually working today. It's a little slow. It loses about 5 minutes a day. We haven't done anything to it. A lot of people were asking about the clock. We've redone the ventilation system. We've rebuilt all of the cables and push-pull vents for all the various controls for ventilation. The fan motors work. They're original. I'm trying to see if we can actually see under here. Not sure if you can see under there. This may work, this may not work. You can actually see what's going on. And maybe the ignition system. I don't know if you can see the ignition system. We've hidden the ignition system in front of the glove box. You can see the 4 screw holes, or the 4 screws. That is exactly where the MSD box is, in front of the glove box liner. So let's give this a quick start. So there we go. It's a little, running some pretty thick oil in it right now. I'm running actually probably a little thicker oil than maybe I should. So you can see it's running right at 60 pounds pressure at about 750, 800 RPM. So it'll actually come up a little bit. Give it a listen. Since we're safe and neutral and everybody's nice and happy. As you can see, actually, now that we fired it up, water temperature has plummeted, so it looks like it had cooled off longer than we think. A little bit of that. Runs pretty well. You see the driving videos, drives pretty well. Power steering. Everything works. And that's our 1967 Stingray. Thanks.